Welcome to Unwrapped with Tayo. This is a platform where we unwrap meaningful conversations and ideas with extraordinary people. And today I'm excited to welcome the General Manager of the Lagos State Office for Disability Affairs, LASODA, Mrs. Adenike Oyetunde-Lawal. How are you feeling, sister? Yeah, that's how she rolled and everything.
I'm feeling good. Thank you for the honor.
You're welcome.
And this happens to be one of those conversations that I want to have. I want to know what's going on in your head.
Okay.
This is me experiencing you through different lenses. So,
Nice.
yeah, I'm here for the ride.
Thank you for coming and thanks for honoring our call, All right, so let's start at the beginning. Where were you raised? And what shaped your sense of resilience at the earliest stage of your life?
So, I was born in Lagos,
Right.
Lagos Island, and I was raised in Ikoyi. My father was a civil servant.
Yeah.
And so we used to live in one of those official quarters, the 6-block apartment flats. And so I'm an only child of both my parents.
Okay.
And so, speaking now, I think the fact that I was the only one and I was always at the neighbor's house, or there was a neighbor at ours, and my mom would say, "Don't go," and then I'll go. And I was often the only girl in the football team. I was the girl who would climb the mango tree with the boys, the what we call fruit trees with the boys. I was very active in the farm. We had, a lot of farming space. And so my neighbors that had female kids as well, we were always hands-on. They had poultry, chickens, most of their animals we had given names to. So I think those little droplets of childhood experiences added to how dogged I was.
Right.
I would recall getting injured whilst playing football, and I'll go home and my mom will bring a course of time. And you would think that I would never go back to play ball for where the next day I'm right there. I may not actively play on the field, but I'll probably be like maybe the referee on the sidelines, but I would always be outside. So I believe very strongly that shaped or started to shape, the resident part of me.
Right.
My father is a practicing Muslim, and my mom was a Christian before she met him many years ago. I always say changed to Islam because she got a free trip to go on pure pilgrimage. And so I was born in a home where I saw many of my neighbors practice Christianity, and there was also Islam. And so we would eat the salad meat together, and then when it's time for church, won't go. I started to go to church, I think about 5 or 6 to my family friends. And so I was I want to go to church. Can I go to church? I need to go to church. So I think those little things, and growing up around Queen's Drive, where the Federal High Court was situated, and then seeing my first female justice of Nigeria get a lot of respect. I think just little pockets of things. I grew up beside neighbors, Dr. Aviola Tilgado, who was such a resilient and exemplary female figure for me. She was doing the very best, was working with state governments, international organizations. So I'm like, there has to be something about these people around me. And so I think and believe that these little pockets of experiences shaped the resilient part of me. And then my faith journey, I believe very strongly, played a huge role in how resilient I have become and I'm still becoming. And that's primarily because I had tasted the other side of faith, and because I didn't go to learn how to read the Quran and all of that.
Right.
English was signaled to me. I just didn't pay attention to this.
Right.
So, this Rabina and Jollof rice in church just hooked me, and like that's it. And I started to practice Christianity and or pay attention more to the Christian faith.
Right.
And hearing stories about the Bible, about this person called Jesus, hearing stories about the children of Israel and going around the wilderness 40 years. I remember in Sunday school, completely lost. Why were they going around? Why didn't someone just say, "Hey, I'm not going around again"? I had those questions, and God bless the hearts of our Sunday school teachers. They explained it in the most graphic way, especially the story of Zacchaeus. I remember so vividly And so those little pockets of experiences, even in my Sunday school days, were stories that stuck with me about how determination can just shape an individual's life. And so I believe that these pockets of experiences, as long as it gave me peace of mind, as long as I believe that it didn't upset or offend my mother,
Right.
as long as my father would say, "Oh, I'm proud of you," and as long as I did what I knew I was expected to do, has continued to shape my life. Now that I'm now an older person and myself married, and now have kids. So I believe that every single day I see a reason to want to give up, and then I'm like, you can't give up.
You got to keep going.
You have to go.
Yeah.
And one other part that's very important is my journey with this cancer. So I believe that before even having kids, getting married and all of that, losing my leg when I was 20, I knew I was not going to die. I just don't know. I just knew I was not. I knew cancer was not going to kill me. I knew that we can be broke, we can still have sold our house, I sold everything so that I could get better. But I was so determined that I was not going to die at the hands of cancer. The doctors didn't understand. My orthopedic surgeon didn't understand. The oncologist didn't understand. I would just say, no, you guys, I'm not dying. Cancer is not going to kill me. Not today, not me. And I believe very strongly that has continued to shape who I'm daily becoming.
Yeah.
As I get older.
Yeah, so, that's good. Wow. You are really unwrapping. All right. So, speaking about cancer and resilience, I know that you are not someone that wants sympathy, because I know you are very brave and you speak openly. But this part is quite emotional for me. About 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, while you were in the university, you were diagnosed with bone cancer, and which led to you being challenged. What does survival mean to you now? Not then, but now.
What does survival mean to me? First and foremost, survival means waking up the very next day and just continuing on my purpose work. Survival means seeing both my kids. So now they walk, and then every morning they come and try to make them knock on the door and open the door, and sometimes you have to force these tiny human beings to give you a hug. Survival is seeing all four of us just be happy. Survival is knowing that one family's life is changed by the work that you do where I currently work.
Right.
And it's basically just being there for the people who are dear to me. I'm an irreplaceable friend. I'm very, very proud of it. I am that friend who you can't replace me with anybody. I'm too valuable.
Wow.
As a friend, as a parent, as a spouse,
as a sibling,
as a neighbor, as a church member,
right? Workplace as well.
My workplace people are also experiencing, positive changes because I'm there, and so I don't even survive. I know that I have moved from the mindset of just living to thriving. I believe very strongly that where I am now and what is daily unraveling, I consistently show the power of thriving. Why survival can be great, I realize that we move from day to day, but I'm on a purpose work with God. And that does not presuppose that there will be no challenges. There are really hard days. There are days where I just want to lay in bed and just say, you know what, you guys, just leave. It doesn't mean I'm all despondent, the world has ended and all of it. It just means that today I want to be at home. I want to be left alone. Now I can't be left alone because I must hear two human beings screaming.
Mommy.
Look, one of them looks me in the eyes and I was shouting, no, I want that you are telling me no. That is the part of what I'm thriving towards. Reading my Bible every day, seeing myself right from the book of Genesis, something I never saw, something that I never saw Jesus from Genesis, like how you mean Jesus is here, unlearning the religious teachings and the religious perceptions that I have whether been taught, picked up, idolized.
Right.
And relearning can be so hard because I'm like, hey, what do you mean we have to relearn these things? So I believe very strongly that the person who lost her limb 20 years ago, even though I didn't want to survive, I was so resolute that let's go. What's next? I left the hospital to school.
Right.
After my chemotherapy, the very last course I had, I told my dad to take me to school. So.
Right.
And I wanted to do my exam because I didn't want an extra year. So I knew that no, this cancer, this is just a semicolon. It's not even the full stop to it. And so I'm here thriving. You said something when you were talking. You said challenged. So so persons with disabilities is the politically globally acceptable language according to United Nations.
Right.
However, when you live in a space, you may have to adapt it to what people there are very okay with. Now, there are two schools of thought that think that physically challenged is ideal, where there's another school of thought where I belong that doesn't think it's ideal. There's nothing challenging about it. It's just like visually impaired or hearing impaired. So I always say that the best way to make those addresses is often to ask the person if you are having one-on-ones like this, or if it's a room where there are many people, it's often best to use the globally acceptable terminology, which is person with disabilities or people with disabilities or children with disabilities, physical disability like mine.
Okay.
In Lagos, for instance, we have persons with albinism. Before we used to say albinos, it's no longer acceptable because it's derogatory, especially because of how people used to use it. And so it is persons with albinism. And the language continues to evolve. Visually impaired, you meet somebody that is totally blind and the person says, I'm not visually impaired. But the language is you're either totally blind or you are of low vision. So let's be going as we are going. I'll continue to do the
All right. Thank you so much for educating me, and I seriously apologize to you and anybody else out there who may be offended. We live and learn every day. All right. I was seriously emotional about it, and that was it's not something that maybe I think about every day, but when it came to my mind, maybe the older word that I know about it, that was what came.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for enlightening me on that. And moving forward, I promise to use the right words, all right? Okay, so let's talk about illness. What illusion about life has illness removed permanently for you?
What illusion
about life has illness permanently removed for you?
English is plenty.
Okay, so life, that there are things that we believe about life, or that we think that okay, maybe life will be like this. Maybe when you were younger, before university, maybe like you said, you used to play football, things you didn't expect, or maybe where your mindset was at a different time. But then after the illness, you now saw that life is actually not like this. It's like this. Only experience could teach someone that.
So one of the things is that life is really beautiful, even post-amputation. And people think that there's a notion that once you're amputated, your life cannot be a success. So I would often say that the indices that the world sets as parameters to measure success, I believe by the grace of God that some of those indices I have clicked. I'll give a typical example. When things like this happen, people believe, oh, you can't continue your life. And I struggle when I meet people who give several excuses or reasons why they have had to pause their lives. Only recently I got a call about someone who was young and lost their right hand a few years ago, and that was trying to hurry up the conversation. So where are you? What do you want? How do we help you? What you did? And this person says, oh, after that incident I just paused my life. I said, you did what? He said, yes. I said, okay, so did you finish university? Person said no. I didn't. When I said why, person didn't have an answer. I said, how long ago? And the person mentioned the number of years. And I paused and I said to myself, but you know that if you had decided to learn how to write with your left hand from then, he would have perfected the art by now. Because learning to write is an art. Whether you're left-brained or the
right-brained.
We all learned how to hold a pencil in primary school, in creche or whatever, playgroup, and learned how to write, draw A, draw B. So it means that it will take a longer time because you are older, but it's very possible. And so the illusion that once illness or life happens in this regard, you have to completely halt your life. I'm on the other side, and I'm saying, if you lose, it is you who has lost. I also see that, again, amputation, they say you won't finish university. By the grace of God, I finished university. I studied law in my undergrad. I went to law school. I did my MIC.
You became a mother, a wife.
The indices that the world sets as standards for success is, I believe that...
Done everything.
Look, so I'm thinking to myself, it is you, it's how they say that, now we'll give up, now you lose. Last.
That's it.
And so, you have to, I'm not even perspire to inspire now. I'm really just telling hardcore facts that for me, I would normally say that I believe because I was an only child, there was no room to give up.
Right.
I didn't have a brother who said, there's 6 of us. So if I don't become a success, at least maybe 3 or 4 or the other. It was only, and it's still only me.
Wow.
So I needed to,
if you lose, your parents will lose.
My mom was going to lose her mind completely, you know. And for me, I'm like, no, it's not possible. I must be honest, there was no pressure on them, to be very candid. You have to make a success of it. I have no recollection of those kind of conversations.
Right.
And I also believe that who I am may have influenced my parents' response to it. They allow me feel my emotions. I allow them feel their emotions. We will take turns to cry when cancer was still ravaging, you know. But we will clean our eyes. Oh yeah, what next? What medication are we using? Where are we going soon? Are we going back to the hospital? What is the next? They have to cut this leg. I remember when they told me I had to cut the leg. I went back and said, it's not true. They can't. How will I cut my leg? What do they mean? I'm the only child. They didn't find a family where there are 7 children. As if it even mattered. You know, and so when I eventually saw that I was dying, literally, I'm like, okay, you guys, let's go to the hospital. So my parents built strength for me. And so that illusion that people have to supply you with strength. On the other hand, I believe strongly that people will come and they would leave. Wow, Adenike was one that encouraged me. We would read the Bible, we would pray, we would go on social media, we would laugh. I was an avid listener of the radio. I could talk about all the new songs that had just come out and all of that. So I found the pockets of the things that existed outside of the illness. I was on the other side. It's why when I went for my last course of chemotherapy, I told my dad to take me to school. From the hospital, we had packed my things in the car with no strand of hair on any part of my body, take me to the hospital. And my father was like, I'm like, yes. It was a Friday, I remember so clearly, and exams were to start on Monday. You haven't read? I'm like, as God will have it, I went to school and found out that they extended the exam by 2 weeks. So I had time to actually study even longer. And my classmates were gracious. So on the other side of illusion is the fact that once people see that you are ready, there's always help available. There's always that person who will say, let me know, give me your timetable. I will stop over to pick you whenever I'm going to class. Because I didn't have a car in school. And my very good friend Tayo would often pick me up as long as we had lectures on the Satan. As long as we had, let me say, Tayo Akindele.
Okay. And my compound name is Akindele.
No way.
I promise you, I'm from Akindele compound in my town. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tayo Akindele that I'm talking about, he knows himself. Tayo was so gracious to always pick me up. And so on the other side of illness is the fact that just get up, decide. You have one leg, you have one hand, you don't have limbs at all. You can't see, you can't hear, you are deaf, blind, whatever the nature of disability is, it's hard.
Right.
It's really, really, really hard. There are parents who are primary caregivers to their children with profound neurological or intellectual disabilities. And those parents do not know what will happen to their children when they die.
Right.
It is hard. I see them on almost a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and the burden is a lot. And so for parents like that, the best I can say is you can only do your best to live with your child and provide, and just trust that God is going to protect and provide for them. The systems do not exist yet where those sort of individuals can be institutionalized. There are still some structures that exist, but the numbers of intakes very minimal. And so, and if I'm honest, most of those facilities are already overwhelmed. So on the other side of illusion is hope, is joy, is happiness. On the other side of illusion for me is Jesus. He was there before, he's still there now. My faith consistently will be a strong anchor on this marriage, because if not for Jesus, I would have lost my mind.
Hallelujah. All right, so I know you're resilient. I know you are not selfish, because that's the way, instead of you needing inspiration, you became the inspiration that you needed, and even for others. But I just want you to please tell us, how has your personal journey influenced your move into advocacy and public service?
So I didn't wake up one day to say that I wanted to become an advocate or I was going to get in public service. So I was born into a very politically aware family. And so politics has always played a huge role in my growing up. My father used to be a one-time chief press secretary of the Senate president at one time, many years before I was born. My father had me older. My father had me when he was 40 or 42 or something. Yeah. And so my father had carved a niche for himself career-wise. And retired as a journalist. He managed news and current affairs at the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. And so I saw political awareness play a huge role. So I didn't wake up to say, today I'm going to advocate for PWDs. I was just living my life. And then seeing that some of us are more vocal than the others. Some of us have more strength than the others. Some of us can articulate how we feel than the others. Some of us can galvanize people than the others. Some of us can put thoughts into words that can translate into much more than others. And so every single day I see that my life continues to shape into a place where I have certain opportunities that many people don't have. And so it is utterly disastrous to think that my life constitutes of just me. My faith repeatedly exemplifies how my life's journey isn't worth living if I just think about myself. And so advocacy hasn't come to me as a magic word. It's just something that I have morphed and I'm still morphing into. And so somewhere along the lines, I knew that public service was going to happen, but I just didn't know the how. I didn't know if it would be elective. I didn't know it would be appointment. And here I am, appointed and using the tool of experience to see how one is able to shape in the narrative when it comes to persons with disabilities in Lagos State. There's a lot of work to be done, a whole lot of work, but I believe strongly that what it used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago is not what it is today, and that alone makes me excited about what the future holds for persons like me, and much more the 20-year-old somewhere who has just been told that they have to lose their limb. Or a family who has just had a child fresh and is born blind, or is born completely deaf, or does not have any limbs at all. There is so much hope, but the power of the hope is largely dependent on the individual efforts that we put together and our collective work together as a people for one cause, trying to protect and preserve the dignity that persons with disabilities ideally should have.
You are such a brilliant person. All right, so moving from activism to government, what shocked you most about trying to create change from inside the system?
Wow, woo! I think anybody who has been here will tell you the bureaucracy. It's mind-numbing. Like
everywhere.
I'm like, wait, what? You mean we have to carry you? What you mean this? It's such a
Right.
Bureaucracy stands out supreme. Secondly, because I had come in as a senior special assistant or advisor to the governor,
Right.
I had taken those 2 years to understudy a lot of goings on, where I was posted and even around me. And I realized that from the private sector, one of the big issues whenever people get into public service is this: I'm coming here to change the whole thing because people don't know what they are doing. You should get out of the way. It doesn't work like that.
Messiah attitude.
Exactly. Exactly. So I learned that in the first 2 years, and I realized that there are loopholes, or there were loopholes. I also noticed the power of social capital. You cannot successfully work in public service and not without social capital.
Right.
You must be a person who knows how to hail the highest of the highs, and who can be humane to the door person. Because everybody is an integral part of the journey.
Right.
The door person is the person that, if you submit a file, can remove it without anybody knowing, and that's it.
And nothing will happen.
You will not even see the file again.
Wow.
So, and it shows again that the bureaucracy is one thing that frustrates people who just come into the system. And sometimes the bureaucracy serves as checks and balances. You know, and because of the system of government that we run, democratic system of government, where we have 3 arms of government, 3 blah 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 of government, local, federal, and state, and then, you know, judiciary, legislature, and executive, you see that ideally each one of these arms serve as a check and balance to each other.
Right.
So I believe strongly that these are the biggest shockers that I have.
That you encountered or experienced. Awesome. Awesome. But you're still going as a powerful person that you are. Well done.
We have to keep going. We don't have any choice.
Well done. Well done. All right. So you founded Amputees United Initiatives to support and advocate for fellow amputees in Nigeria. What would you tell us that slows down disability inclusion in Nigeria the most? Would you say it's policy gaps or human attitude?
Wow. Wow, I must first give it to you. Yeah, I mean, you really studied research.
Thank you.
Wow, policy gaps and attitude. I believe very strongly that both of them. Policy gaps because, like we know there are many laws in Nigeria. But again, executing, mapping out success rates in terms of following through. But the attitude also matters a lot.
Right.
Is why when you go to places, facilities that even have a marked parking spaces, the person who comes with the biggest four-wheel drive is the one that wants to park closest to the entrance.
Right.
They have no disability, and so this young security personnel is beckoning on them and saying, "Sir or ma, you can't park here. You can't park here." Right. And you just say, "Why are you? Do you know where I am? Go and call your manager."
Right.
And so the attitude of people, even to PWDs, trumps whatever policies that we have.
Right.
Is why the state government can do all she wants, you know, from the standpoint of having a law, creating an agency, creating room for sister agency, coalition and collaboration. You who stands at the bus stop, at the BRT bus station, who sees the person with disability, and knows ideally that they should be prompt to the front of the line, and refuse to admonish them to say, "Sir, why don't you go forward?" And the person behind you say, "Why go forward?" You say, "No, it's a PWD, or it's an elderly person, or it's a pregnant woman." It is the attitude. And so for me, starting Amputees United Initiative was primarily just to create a safe haven. I use those terms very loosely. The work has taken a backseat for now for obvious reasons. Government, I had said I was going to pick up sometime this year. I'm still trusting God. Timing is very ideal and very important. But I know that at the heart of it is the assignment to create a space where, as simple as a hug from a fellow amputee can just shape many things. I know people who see me, who have met me and have said, I didn't know that it was possible. I don't live my life every day saying, no, today I don't want to inspire anyone.
Right.
So I inspire you, and then what? How does that translate to your changed life? Yeah, it was once okay, so you inspire me. Oh, great. But, and then what? Did you continue your education? How has inspiration moved you from point A to point B? As a caregiver, how has the, sharing of my father's experience with caring for me or my mother's experience with caring for me moved you from caring for your child or children with disability or special needs, as the case is? So I believe strongly that we can do all the laws we want. In Lagos, in Nigeria, I beg your pardon for instance, Lagos state government happened to be the first state to have a special people's law, created it, established an agency, and on and on. And then at the moment, there are about nearing 20 states that have domesticated their individual state laws or have created agencies to oversee the concerns of persons with disability. There is also a national body, the National Commission for Persons with Disability, that the administration of the late President Muhammadu Buhari established and empowered. So it is not what it used to be. There's a lot of work to be done. But again, I personally believe, from what I've experienced in the attitude of the larger society, the attitude and perception of PWDs and caregivers, and the attitude of, honestly speaking, our response to even the policies that currently exist. So yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. All right. So as a woman of faith, someone who has managed to remain kind inside slow and frustrating systems, how does your faith guide your patients without making you passive?
Wow. Is this your question? I should ask for the questions. My faith, passive, active, wow, patience.
You speak about faith a lot. You are kind. You've spoken about your patience in terms of how you are able to maneuver the bureaucracy and all of that, different systems.
Sometimes I simply just do that. I just breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Sometimes I call my husband. Sometimes I call my best friends. Sometimes I speak to some of the officers where I currently work. In the last 1 month, I have raised my voice at the office, and I'm being transparent with you. And they had never seen me do that in the 3 or so years or 4 years that they know me for. And I raised my voice, even out but I could see that managing interpersonal relationships, managing over 50 people, managing with every other thing that happens with the homes, not-for-profits that are registered with us, and managing the affairs of these individuals can be overwhelming. And even managing from the home front can equally be overwhelming when you marry everything together. One of the key things is to know where to pause. One of the key things is to know when to take a walk. Like, you know what, I am not showing up at the office tomorrow. You know what, I'm going to have my hair done. You know what,
I'm going for a massage.
Yep. You know what, I want to go out to eat. You know what, I want to splurge. Whatever it is
meditation,
honestly,
yoga,
whatever was, you want to sleep
or gym,
you want to swim, you want to go to the gym. And so I see those methods that come in handy. One way that also helps, to be very honest, is when I take time out to pray. And I notice that one indicator that I haven't prayed in a minute is when I am passive, when I'm very irritable. And it happens, it works for me all the time. And I begin to, okay, just pause, and you see me pray under my breath. And it always regulates me. Always regulates me. Love is patience, love is kind, love is peace, love is this.
First Corinthians chapter 13.
Love is this, love is that.
Yeah.
You know, all of these things are great. But the role of prayer is so important. And my parents and I were speaking a second where we're saying they both agreeing that we have been at the feast where we've not been able to pray by ourselves. We will do Bible study, we will watch sermons, but we had not just been able to pray by ourselves. I'm like, yeah, sometimes we get there, and now that we've identified it, it's now time to let's pick up praying again. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Because you'll be on Instagram 1 hour, you wouldn't know when 1 hour has passed. So again, it starts from diligence. So I think that this is how my faith helps me manage through or maneuver through the rudiments of all the good weather that's happening. Because traffic in Lagos for us, you're driving, you're not driving, you're driving, you know, somebody scratch your car, you're driving, oh my God, all of these things. My faith just continues to ground me. Is why I cannot but continue to pray. Because prayer really is the key.
Is the key. Prayer is the key. Thank you so much. You know, you're such a brilliant lawyer and activist.
Wow.
You know, and
are you hearing that?
I'm sure he's proud of you. You know, I'm also proud of you.
Aww.
Yeah. So as a brave activist who has taken activism to government, what do you think people in power, what responsibility do you think they hold to listen more carefully to lived experience?
Wow. These questions are deep. You
are a deep person.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a place that experience plays in the workspace is why getting expertise is very important. But we don't pay a chartered accountant the same that you pay someone who just graduated studying accounting from university. Because chartered accountants means that you have hit a certain point on the journey in the space where your expertise is top notch. And so sometimes one of the things that we see across the board, whether in Nigeria or anywhere else with governments and governance, is being desensitized to realities. And it's easy, now that I'm here, it's easy to know why. It's easy to know why, whether it is intentional or unconscious, that one may be desensitized to the realities on ground. One of the key things that I believe very strongly serves as a hallmark of a brilliant leader is the fact that your people know that they have your ears. And sometimes even when you don't get people like the experience to come on board, you find out that even having as little and as simplistic as stakeholder engagement helps. You are able to feel the pulse of the people. You are able to articulate to them where you are to the extent that you are allowed to. Because when being on the government side, you realize that there are things you cannot say publicly anymore. There are things that you can't be a part of. I'll give you a very typical example. Before I was asked to serve, I was very active in the media space. I was on radio. I was doing, I think my last one was freelance on a radio station where I used to do newspaper reviews, and you will pick different news items on a daily basis and just dissect it. And so when this came, I was at the precipice of, this is a focus work. And I love this so much. How do I marry it? And I realized that, you're not allowed to do both. I'm like, I remember making calls like, what do you mean I'm not allowed? Don't you people watch the don't you use that this person is this and this person is also doing this or this? I'm like, well, we see if you understand what you're saying, but in our client, it plays out slightly differently. And so I struggle with it, if I'm being honest, for a bit. And that's because I would like to pick up different things and talk about them, but again, because of where I am, I cannot do so. So I see why it is possible for governments and politics to make people live in seclusion. There's a kind of hubris that makes you feel that you are not a part of the game. And no matter how long you remain in power for, however long, one day it will come to an end. And then when it comes to the end, maybe you can do what to a different island of your own. But reality is, you will stop and then you start to ask the questions. So the best that can happen is to ensure that there are foundations that keeps one grounded. And have a clique of friends who you know can damn the consequences and tell you more what you did, what you have said is not.
Just call your bluff.
Honestly, what you said is this. Or you can get a text message for a group of friends and say, are you okay? And oftentimes a group of friends who are not benefiting from where you currently are. We're honest. A group of friends that you probably have not arranged some form of anything for, to say, I'm not benefiting from, you're not feeding me, so I can tell you whatever it is. We can fight after today, but I'm not going to tell you. I watch you do this. Are you people not noticing what you are doing? What you are doing is not this. What you need to have that. If you're a person of faith, I also believe very strongly that the people whose authority you submit to play a huge role.
That's it.
And hoping that they themselves are not
misleading.
They are not misleading and they are not collecting what you have and just keeping quiet. Again, if you are a person who is equally married to a truthful person, it can go everywhere in the world, and then when it's time to hit the pillow, put your head on the pillow. Okay, so that you can fight. What do you mean? What the person has said it.
Because you trust the person. Yes,
the person has said it. So each individual knows what they should set up for themselves.
That's it.
And there isn't a clear-cut, specific methodology. Find what works for you, and honestly speaking, apply it.
Right.
My husband is critical. I watch your interview. I don't think you asked that question. He told me that. I'm like, at first I'm telling him, my brother boiling. I just
no sugar coating.
I watched it. I'm like, oh, I actually saw what she said. It took a lot. It took a lot. It did take a lot.
Right.
In fact, I think one that happened in December was I joined a television news program and sent a message. Why did you blow your fiber out?
Right.
Study is nice. My picture was there and I didn't think, and I was arguing him. So I just remembered I had another friend who watched it live. I sent a message to him. I said, that's so true. You could have just left the background.
Right.
So I went back to him and said, you didn't believe me now.
Right.
See finish.
Right.
So it's really about the little things that you set up around you to ensure that you are not deluded from the realities. But sometimes you hear some things from some people and you're like, this is delusion at the highest of it.
Manipulation. They want to
manipulation.
Right.
So I think that's my response.
That's really good. So it's important to create a trusting environment. To have people that you respect, but you also trust that they will not mislead and manipulate you. All right, that's great. So I always say something that nobody be Superman. I'm sure you believe that as well. So on days when the system feels immovable, what gives you hope?
Wow, barbecue turkey.
You like barbecue turkey?
Oh,
I thought you were joking, man. I thought that was just a thing. Okay, barbecue turkey.
Yep.
So you eat barbecue turkey and you just get your energy.
I love turkey.
Okay.
Oh boy. I love fried rice.
Right.
And I mention food because it heals my soul in very interesting ways. Hot puff cough.
Right.
As laughable as these things are, cold glass of freshly squeezed juice, a good documentary,
Right.
and good sleep.
Okay.
That was before the boys came. And now, all of these things. I haven't had the river yet to travel since my kids arrived, because now it's a family of 6. And then I always, you are sure that I'll come at this point. I'm very, very sure. That's because we're very good friends.
Before love setting?
Very, very good friends.
Right.
And sometimes I call my dad. In December, I called my mom and I just started to cry. And she was confused. Because I know my mom had a recollection in the car and phone, and she was like, so what can I do? I said, nothing, I just wanted to tell you. By the next, so my father and I have spoken, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm very connected to my emotions. I'm not run by my emotions, but I'm very connected to it. And so I allow it to, I wanted to cry. I hope my mom, I can't do it. I can't, why would I cry? When my mother hear me cry, duh. And after that point, we started to put the pieces together.
Right.
Okay, so this is what it is. This is a challenge here. Let's try to move this forward to see it can, or it cannot be moved forward. Let's move back. At the point, my mom like, or should I come? I'm like, these human beings are too energetic for you.
You can't handle them.
You can't handle them.
Yeah.
Because again, caregiving was also part of what was also on the table then. And in 48 hours, everything had shifted. Everything had taken, honestly, 48, 72 hours, everything had, we had fixed everything right back and started to move one step at a time.
Wow.
And so I am also learning that when the things seem immovable, breathe. My brain wants to resolve it from the spot. My brain wants to, how will you suddenly want to scatter this plan? How do you? So I hear my husband say, and I always get upset when he says this, don't worry, not him. What do you mean don't worry? What do you mean don't worry? Of course you say don't worry. Poor guy is just looking at me, but it's okay. That's all. Don't worry. So, I'm now facing a part of my life where it's not like I have everything all sorted out in terms of the plans.
Right.
When these challenges come, my nervous system's first response is to
Right.
And I find myself now saying back to myself, I can never be stranded. And so even when it feels like, I'll give it to you. The last driver I had took me to work at through the stunts and just left. So I was driving my time home that day, very excited. So I told, but so hit my husband and say, so imagine I couldn't drive.
Right.
Wow. And then she would always say, but we can never be stranded. We really can never be stranded. So I believe very strongly that these are realistic examples. It's not
vague. It's something that you experience.
These are the experiences that this in the last 2-3 months. These are the ways that I have had to rearrange the things that have seemed immovable, and really found out that there really isn't anything that cannot be moved around.
Right.
Nothing. Nobody. With caring or maybe support staff at home, I often will say, nobody is going to create a system where they think that they go. The house will bumble, no? So soldier go, soldier come. Sorry. It would definitely remain out. For me.
That's it. Now, you are such an amazing person. Speaking with you has been super awesome. And I can say, as most of my team members would also agree with me, that you are one of the best guests we have had so far on this show. You've spoken well about disability, you've enlightened us, you've spoken well about our systems, about resilience, about family, about faith, and personally I've learned so much from you, and I'm sure that people are also learning as they are watching us now. So speaking of faith, I just want to ask you lastly, because I know we've asked you a lot, so last question is that what are you currently praying through right now or thinking deeply about in this season?
Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking about accountability in faith. The last 5, 6, 7, 8 months has been very interesting for me personally and for those around me that I know. And one thread that is common to all of us is our faith. And I'm seeing from this example and the example in the body locally and even internationally that we are struggling with accountability. We don't want to be accountable to ourselves. We don't want to be accountable to people that we know. We don't want to be accountable to the people we lead. We don't want to be accountable to the people that lead us. We don't want to be accountable to everything. And I am watching how some people are able to arrange the puzzles and some boxes are falling now. Primarily stemming from accountability. Our faith, my Christian faith, is one that allows for any and everybody, including charlatan practice. It's why someone can erect something today and say, oh, give it a name, register it, and boom, we're in business. When in actual fact, the Bible is the manual.
Right.
And it speaks. Where the Bible has a voice on certain topics, how about you let it speak?
Right.
And not misinterpret, misquote, and be a con artist of sorts.
Right.
And so in the last many few months, I have been studying the whole concept of accountability. As an individual, as a body, as a member of a smaller body, as a member of the friends and families. And I see that one thing that stands out to me is where accountability is lacking, the results are always the same. There's always chaos. There's always a breakdown of law and order.
Right.
Families are broken.
Right.
Friendships are ultimately shattered. Dreams are shattered. And so you see people trying to build themselves up. You see people say, oh, I used to be a former Christian. When in actual fact, there's nothing like that. The best John, if you were really a part of the faith, you can. Christianity is one chance. It's like entering an aircraft. Like forget your child. And this is what give your wishes.
Right.
If you like forget your child at the airport, if you get your ocean rest, you really get the festy. 2 Corinthians 5:17-21 remains one of the most powerful parts, and then Galatians 2:20. You cannot be a part of the fold. True, I think I want to get down. You want to open the airplane, the window of the airplane, the middle of the flight.
You want to kill everybody.
Everyone. And so my biggest hope and prayer is we all see and understand how important we are to each other. When something happens to you, it happens to me. Even when we want to detach ourselves. It's funny how we don't see how connected you are.
Right.
Faith, especially for Christians, the faith and the bond that you share in Christianity is stronger than the blood bond you have with your Satans, the family members. And so we must remember that our bond as Christians is what makes me bold enough to look her in the face to say, that clothes really wear for Instagram.
Right.
That outfit was horrid. Don't wear it again on it. I mean, all open his mouth and say, don't judge me. Don't
defensive, yeah.
Don't judge. Look, for me, spot the Bible. If you are a member of our faith, we have every right to call you to order.
Right.
We have every right. We can, however, do it lovingly.
In families too.
It is
even in friendship.
It is a family matter. The devil has no business in our business. No business. So when we want to act, look, you can send a DM. You can call it. There's a way we lovingly correct ourselves.
Each other.
Or to not think that, oh, they corrected you. Don't judge me.
Or you're picking on me.
Hello.
Or I don't like the tone of your voice.
God bless you. There's a way that we can do it lovingly. The other part about it that is very connected to this is maturity. We must all grow up.
Right.
Are we not tired of drinking milk? We're all adults and then we're still drinking milk.
Talking about bishop.
I'm telling you, in the spiritual sense,
right.
It's time for meat. It's time to use your teeth. It's time to tear things. And we can only do that when we are honest with ourselves. So for me, these are the two areas that I have been navigating, praying through,
thinking
because I'm watching it unravel in several pockets of instances around me. And I know these instances that I'm here doesn't mean I'm witnessing a movie.
Right.
There are lessons that need to be learned.
Right.
So that when I find myself in those positions, I don't repeat the same mistakes. That is how I see things. The average religious mind thinks, oh, it's coming. No. if you are in the faith, the only two things that are permitted to follow you are goodness and mercy. You have a dream, lion is chasing you, you wake up and remind yourself, the Lion of the tribe of Judah lives in me. So what are you, what do you want? It's only a dream. You can't even appear in real life because you are just weak in the true sense of it. And so for me, I'm seeing how we must remind ourselves that on this journey of accountability, it's the same way how it plays out in marriage. Don't marry a person who is not accountable to people that you don't know.
Right.
So that when you feel like you want to put your spouse inside a bottle of water and throw them a babish, you have telephone numbers to call.
Right.
When my abros called me, so I'm dating someone, one of the first things I asked in Yoruba is, does the person have Olubawi? If they don't have Olubawi, run.
Right.
Because love will, there's a point you will just put love on the wall and you are looking at realism. In those moments, you now start to ask, while we were still in love, and I asked that when you err or when there's an issue, who do we call? And that's also because we don't believe in therapy. When people say therapy, you just believe that it's for broken people. No. To improve the quality of your life, even as Christians, you know, there are great therapists, so not the ones that they are great therapists.
Not charge and bill.
They are great therapists. They have. Right. So I'm saying it, I'm right in the middle of quite a number of instances. And even though I don't gloss over these instances because my heart is heavy that things are not being worked out, I'm seeing the errors that are currently being made.
Right.
And hopeful to God that when opportunity presents themselves, should they in any way, we ourselves that are onlookers will not make those same mistakes. I must state that I am thoroughly impressed at the kind of questions that you're asking.
Right.
And that in itself is a testament that you have put a good team together.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And you too, you are indeed an extraordinary person. And thank you so much for honoring our call to come and unwrap your wisdom and experience and all these brilliant, things you've shared with us today. I wish you more success with LASODA and AUI. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.